Hello everybody, this is Hellbent and welcome back to finally the last part in the if statements tutorial. No matter what, I'm going to get through it all in this one episode, so that's something to be happy about, I guess. I've been working on this one for, wow, over 2 months now. So the first thing I'm going to do is update this, because we are now in July, and today is the 5th. Yes. Okay, so that's the last time I'm going to have to do that. If you guys would like to have these episodes come more frequently, you have to hit the like button. I look at the likes and I see, okay, I got 3 likes. I'm not going to be in a rush to create the next video. You know, I might wait 3 months, 6 months. I might eventually let the series die if I don't get the positive feedback to keep me motivated to creating these videos. I'm a small channel. I don't get a lot of views, so I'm not financially motivated. So what is my motivation? My motivation is to help people to build on the AutoHotkey community and see what kind of things that can be created. So I really need your support by taking the 2 seconds it takes to click the like button. But that out of the way, let's move on. We're going to be going over between, which is a command that I don't actually use because there's other ways that I can do it. Like I can use if such and such is less than equal to this number or greater than equal to this number, and it works the same way. But this can accomplish the same thing in a little bit less code. So because it exists, I'm going to show it. So we'll just go into it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 variables, and I'm going to call the first one x1, and this is just going to be an x location on my screen, and I am going to have it, let's say, equal to 25. And now I'm going to create a second x location on my screen, which is going to be, I'm going to call x2, and I'm going to make it 100. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a third variable that is going to constantly be changing. And what we're going to look for is if this changing variable falls in between these 2 variables, we're going to have it do something. So this third one I'm just going to create, it's just going to be called x, and it's going to equal 500. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a loop, just a simple loop. I'm dealing with a little bit of a toothache the last couple of days, so I'm very nervous about biting down on my tooth, so I'm talking with a little bit of a slur. Okay, so anyway, so we got our loop, and now we need to create a mouse move command. And we are just going to take our x, so our starting location is going to be our x, and then we're going to pick a y at random. So I want it somewhere around the middle of the screen so you can see it. So starting at the top, this would be 0, and as you go further closer to the bottom, the number increases. So let's say 500. Let's try 500. So our y is going to be 500, and hopefully that's about the center of my screen. Actually, you know what? I don't think that is. I think 300 is probably closer to the center. It's been a few days since the last time I had actually used... Actually, you know what? I can figure this out real quick. I have a auto clicker that I just finished writing, so I can actually use this, and I can use the get position because this tells me the x and y. So yeah, about 300. So if I look at the second 3 digits, it's 300, 301. So that's what I'll use. So 300 is good. And I will, do I want to have a speed? Yeah, I'll put a speed in as well. Refresh some of the earlier tutorials that I had done. Okay, so now that I have that, what I'm going to do to that x, which currently equals 500, is I'm going to subtract from it. So I'm going to take my x and I'm going to say minus equal minus equals, and let's go with, I need a number, let's go with 44. I'm okay with 44. And now inside of here I need to create an if statement that's going to check if our x falls in between those two numbers. So I'm going to say if x, oh yes, with this one I don't use the bracket. So if x between I think I need the variable wrapped. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I need. So okay, so with this one I'm going to wrap. I need to wrap because it's not expecting a oh my god. Don't do these videos when you're tired. Because it's not expecting a forget it. Okay, I need to wrap it in percent signs in order for it to tell that it's actually a variable. In other words, it's actually looking, it's going to assume that I'm looking for x1, which, what does that mean? It means nothing. Okay, so anyway, so I got the first one. It's going to be in between that and x2. Okay, so we have our mouse move. It's going to start at x equals 500 and y equals 300, and it's going to start moving. And each time it goes through this loop, it's going to subtract 44 from the value of x. And then if x falls in between these two variables here, it's going to do something. And what's it going to do? It is just going to pop up a message. And what should our message say? How about we just say the value of x? X equals x. And then once it's done that, we're just going to have it break out of this loop. Okay, let me see. Does that look good? Yeah, I think everything's okay there. So we'll just save this and run it. So we see our cursor moving, and it's slowly going down, down, down. And then once it gets below 100, and there we go, x equals 60. Let's change the value of this to 30. And we'll save that and run it again. And there we go. Okay, so that's the first one example we'll use, and now we'll do another quick example as well. So I'm just going to comment this out with Control Q, and let me think, what do we want? Let's use our input box, since the if statements, that's our main thing that we've added in, is our input box. So one last time. And do I want to create, oh yes, I don't need to create a yeah, I didn't really want to do this video today, but I've been procrastinating for so long that I just want to get it out of the way, because there's other subjects that I want to get to besides just this. In fact, later on today I want to actually jump into starting a new series on the graphical user interface. So I want to get this out of the way before I get into that. In fact, I should go into do functions and labels and all those other things, but like I said, I'm not in such a rush because I haven't exactly gotten a huge amount of love for these tutorials, so I'm going to go jump into something that I want to do. Okay, so we have user input. I am going to make it so that way we don't have a title. And let's see. We'll do pretty much the same thing we did before, so we'll just ask our user Okay, so we'll just ask them to enter a number between 1 and 100, and now we'll check to see if our number falls in between specific values. So we'll say if user input between 1 and 100, we will have a message box, and our message box is going to say simple. And we will use an else if it doesn't fall between that. Okay, let me see. Does that look good? Okay, that looks good. I'll save it and run it. So please enter a number between 1 and 100. So the first time we'll enter a number that is between 1 and 100, and it says it is between 1 and 100. Now we'll run it again. This time we'll go over 100, and let's see what it says. It is not between 1 and 100. Okay, so that's between. Like I said, you can accomplish the same thing if you use greater than or less than the specific ranges, but this is another way of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and comment out this, and we can move on. Okay, so now we're looking to see if something contains something else. So I'm going to create a variable that has a string in it, and then we're going to test. We're going to ask our user to enter something, and then we're going to test to see if what the user enters actually is contained within the variable. So I'll make this as simple as possible. So I'm going to say my test case colon equals, and then because I'm going to use a string, I need to have my quotation marks. And what am I messed up here somehow? Somehow something's not closed properly. Why am I... if between... Okay, I screwed up somewhere. I just don't know where. Okay, that looks right. That looks right. Test. Yeah, that's... Alright, let me try uncommenting out this. Let me see. Okay. Yes. Okay, there we go. I don't know. I have no idea why that happened like that, but whatever. Okay. So we got our test case, and we are going to say she sells seashells by the seashore. Okay, so that's our test that we're going to be comparing against, and now we need to ask our user to input something. So let's go input box, and we need a variable, so we'll just say user input. We'll call our variable user input. And title, I'll just go ahead and do that for title. and our prompt. Okay, please enter a string. Okay, that's that. Now I'm going to sleep for half of a second because sometimes it causes issues. And now we're going to do our if statement. So if our test case contains our user input, we want to create a message box and it says okay, whatever, it contains the string, and then else okay, let me make sure everything looks good. Test case, she sells by the seashore. Input box, user input, please enter a string. Sleep 500. Test case contains message box. It contains the string. It does not contain the string. Okay, that looks good. We'll save it. And okay, there is something. What line? 250. Why is 250? Oh, derp. Okay, there we go. Okay, please enter a string. The first time we'll do it with, we're going to try this a couple of times so you can see what's going on. So we'll start out with cells C. We'll just put in that and see what it does. It contains the string. Okay, so clearly the user input is contained within that string. We'll test again. We'll use something else. Let's try the first word and the last word. It does not contain the string because they're separated. So it's if we're going to use the two words, they need to be two words that follow each other. Okay, we'll try it again. Okay, so let's try by the. It contains the string. Let's try a single word. Any single word that's within it. Shells. It contains the string. So that's that. And now we'll try hello. Is hello contained in it? That does not contain the string. Okay, so that's it for that. Once again, this is one of the things that I never use, but you might eventually have a use for it. And if you save these tutorials to its own folder, like I suggested way back in the first tutorial, in the end, like for example, let's see. So for example, I have all my tutorials all in one folder, and if I ever need to refer back to how to do something later on, all I have to do is just click on it, and I will have all the examples ready for me to look at. So how do I use else? I can go, okay, okay, that's how I use else. Okay, I got it. No problem. Right? So these, by keeping them in a folder, its own folder with only other tutorials, if you're following along with the tutorials, it'll be really easy for you to refer back to something, because for the first couple of times you use these things, it's you're going to forget exactly the syntax of how to use it. So you can, if you have something to refer back to, it saves a lot of problems down the road. Also, if you know, like 6 months go by and you haven't done any scripting in that amount of time, you're going to forget a lot of the stuff that we go over. So by having it all in one folder, it's really easy just to refer back to it. So I really suggest, if you're following along with these tutorials, put them all in their own folder. Don't just watch them, actually type them out along with me. Practice is really makes perfect in this. And that is it. Don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you on the next part of this, which is going to be functions. But before I do that, I'm actually going to go jump over to the graphical user interface side of things. So wherever way you go, I will see you there. And have a good day.